Hello everyone and welcome back to the final day of the longest week of Pro League. We've finally gotten through it and we're ready for the crackers that we have coming up tonight. It should be a banger live from the Intel Esports Arena, joined by the wonderful Benjamin Doughty.
Good to be back, isn't it? The final day.
I know.
It's been a long one.
It has. It's been a shift, Ben. There's been some overtimes, there's been some ups and downs, there's been some smoothers, but more importantly, we've got some games.
We do have some more games coming up, that is true. But it might be worth looking at the games from yesterday.
Very true. Let's have a look at those results and see what exactly went down, as the A-Stream had a jam-packed AAA calendar. Meanwhile, we had Big facing off against some teams where they really needed to get some big results in. The first game was quite a scrappy affair, going to overtime on Nuke, but they were able to peel away with a full 6 points in the end. Well, 5 points in total, obviously dropping one there in overtime.
Yeah, all in all, you mentioned the 4 games they had. They got 8 points from a possible 12, which against Heroic and Wendigo, it was always going to be a bit scrappy against Heroic. Wendigo, you felt like they probably should be getting the majority of the points. They did get 5. Ultimately, a pretty successful day for them, considering they are in the top half of the table already.
Yeah, that is very true. They've played a good majority of their games, so they're in a position now where wins mean an awful lot to them to try to keep themselves within that top 7 region. We had FaZe Clan again playing, but FaZe, Inferno games have not been going well for them at all, Ben. It was a 16-14 loss that, if we cast our minds back to, was very one-sided at one point. Yeah,
I believe it was a 12-3 half to North at one point, and that resulted in North struggling to just finally get those rounds on the board. There was a lot of difficulties, you could argue. Ave having to step in.
Yeah.
Apparently it wasn't even to do with the internet, it was more just the routing for some of the players. So that's just quite unavoidable at times. But ultimately, they get the 3 points they needed, which against FaZe, you're thinking you might as well try and capitalise against a roster who seem to be in turmoil.
Well, it's quite funny as well, because of that result, where Ave only died a few times in the game.
Yes.
He has a very good stat there on HLTV, doesn't he, Ben?
Yeah, one of the least deaths per round, based on how many he's played.
Which is quite an amusing tidbit to walk away from that game. Obviously only playing a couple of rounds before they shut it down. And then the final game of the night, once again, it was Big. They faced off against Heroic, and they traded maps. Dust2, a map that Big have looked pretty damn effective on over the past few weeks. Not today. Yeah,
it was a bit of a weird one, because Heroic won the first half, I believe it was 11-4. And we talked all through the whole game about how Big, they started slow usually, especially against Wendigo earlier on in the day. And from there, they usually recovered. However, they started a bit too late in that matchup. It was a bit too far gone. Heroic were able to close it down. And Train was looking similar, but this time they came back to it before it was too much of a lead for Heroic. And ultimately, at 16-10, they took control quite quickly.
Yeah, they did, and that was the win on Train. So not too bad of a day of games for Big. They won 3 out of the 4 available matches, obviously one of them being in overtime as well, so a little bit of a dip to their points, but still good stuff. So let's get into the standings and see how exactly everyone is situated off the back of that.
Yeah, so the big thing, I suppose, literally big thing.
Yeah.
Big have got 22 games played of the 26 this season compared to the teams around them. NaVi, for example, we'll be seeing them later today, I believe. They've got 16 games played for comparison, yet they're only 6 points behind Big. So Big, they've got to be thinking, we need to win out the last 4 games we have, because we can't really guarantee we're actually going to make the playoffs still. It's still possible for teams like Heroic, Mousesports, Hellraisers to catch up to them. Yeah,
they really need to get some large wins on their side, or they could be knocked out of that top 7. Obviously, a bit of a tight-packed group right now. FaZe Clan as well, because of the games they have been losing, they're stuck in that mid-portion, only on the 5th spot right now, Ben, and they haven't been looking amazing.
Yeah, the same can be said about G2 as well. Just look at the round difference. Both G2 and FaZe are in the minus when it comes to round difference, yet they're positioned in the top half of the table. It just shows that the games that they have won have been very close, but then they've been beaten quite handily in the past as well.
Yeah, manhandled, some might say. So let's have a look at the games we are going to be playing tonight here over on the B stream. To kick it off, it is Dust2 with NaVi versus Heroic. The second map in that series is going to be Train.
Yeah, so the first time we'll be seeing NaVi on the B stream, actually. The A stream's been hogging them so far.
They've been keeping them at bay.
Yeah, so we'll get to see the nice little simple show. Perhaps some electronic and flaming along the side. Against Heroic, though, who they looked pretty good yesterday on Dust2. However, Train was a bit of a lesser showing from them.
Still some questionable decisions from the entire team.
Yeah.
At times, it looked like they were a little bit, sort of stuck into weird force plays, and could have possibly done even better if there would have been slight more cohesion in the rounds which needs to come out from them. And obviously versus NaVi, it is a very different kettle of fish. They are a sublime team, and as you said, Pappy Simple that can just pop off, Ben.
Yeah, it's one of those things because everybody thinks Astralis the best team all year. Device, technically the best leading player from them. but Simple has had better stats despite Astralis having the team success. So I'd love to see if Simple carries on that form into the end of the year as well, because it is a neck-and-neck contest between the two of the players. Yeah,
it would be a crazy run in 2018 for both of them, and it would be very exciting to see how they do towards the end of the year. After that, though, a double bill for NaVi, going to be facing off versus Windigo. Overpass and Mirage being the maps for that series. Again, favoured for NaVi, but Windigo, what can they really achieve? Obviously, scraping points here and there in the majority of the games they've been able to play, but never really winning dominantly, and now you face off against a very hard opponent.
Yeah, it's one of those games you'd normally consider to be pretty much, I wouldn't say an easy win for NaVi by any means, but you've got to be favouring them quite heavily, right? It's another one of those games we'll probably see the odds be quite heavily favoured their way, maybe like a 1.2, 1.3 maybe. But ultimately, NaVi, they've got to be thinking from the Heroic game, if they pick up, say, the 6 points, if not 5, that sort of thing, from Heroic, maybe thinking we'll get the 6 from that as well.
I think that's probably looking at sort of like an 80 to 20% sort of chance there in favour of NaVi. And then to close it out, of course, our favourites in Big. They're always here on the B stream. There's the first letter of Big Ben.
Yeah, and the first map, Dust2. We'll be seeing God be behind the door, perhaps.
Possibly so. He likes that position. It's his home from home. It is where he, he likes to lock it down. And that's versus G2. That's going to be Dust2 and Cash for the final series of the night.
I believe that is a repeat from the Major, I think it is, as well. They both played Dust2 and Cash against each other, rather. And Big did take that 2-0, so it's a bit of an interesting one when you think about the previous matchup.
Yeah, it could be a bit of an interesting one. Let's dial it back, though. Get into our first game. Obviously, NaVi going to be going into that one. What are our initial thoughts? Obviously, much more favoured for NaVi. They're looking like the better team right now, individually as well. They've been doing very good. Simple, as you said, a tremendous run this year. Not really dropping off in form either. It's been quite consistent for him. Yeah,
it's a bit of an interesting because if you cast your mind back towards the Major final, so it was NaVi against Astralis, and everybody was saying Astralis know perfectly how to play against Simple. However, if you look at the stats, he still has a well above average rating against them. It's just the fact that they don't allow him to go crazy against them, right? They limit him a bit. But he's still just capable of putting out great, performances. How you mentioned NaVi, been playing quite well this season. They're still third, and if you remember, they didn't even play a game in the week 1. So they were able to see the table build up from them, and then they were like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to win roughly, 60-70% of their games. And they've done more than that, I believe. They've got like 10 wins on the board already out of the 14 games they played. It's looking really good for them.
Yeah, it has been going well. I imagine the odds will probably reflect that as well as they now come up. It's a 1.28 to 3.2, so quite high in favour of NaVi.
Yeah, it's not too surprising, ultimately, because you've got to be thinking Heroic against NaVi. You'll always favour NaVi. It just depends how much, right? Those are the kinds of odds that I would expect. And then I think it'll be even worse against Windigo later on as well. Yeah. So they're not too bad. If you're thinking about an underdog bet, I guess that's something you could do, but it's a bit far-fetched, perhaps.
Yeah, it is a bit of a risk. For Heroic, I mean, recently we've seen sort of ups and downs for them. It's still a different roster when you look at it. I mean, they've had time to sort of gel a bit now and it's started to come through, but there's still big question marks in some of those players. I don't really know how I feel about it. Obviously, Nico, for me, he was a very talented player. Losing him definitely could be an impact to the squad. However, they have seemed to actually, get some cohesion behind them. Overall, it seems like the roles have been filled quite nicely. Mertz at times can seem very effective, but he's gone quiet in a lot of the games we've seen.
Yeah, it takes a while for him to get an outright impact, a meaningful impact, I guess, right? We saw it towards the end of that big game in Dust2. The last 4 rounds that Heroic were able to get on the board, it was due to him. And ultimately, we need to see more of that. However, if you think about the AWP battles coming up, he's got Simple in front of him this time. Arguably a harder matchup. So he's going to have to deliver quite big here. It's
also the fact that Simple's AWP is incredibly unpredictable. The player himself, right? You never really know what he's going to bring to the table, and it's the fact that he can back it up. He's one of those players that can be so aggressive, but in his headspace, he knows he can go for it. And 9 times out of the 10, he's going to land those shots. But we are in. Heroic are your Ts. NaVi.gg.bet are going to be on the CT side. And Electronic gets first contact towards long bet. It's an aggressive burst here for the Ts.
So Heroic taking control and moving up quite quickly here. The battle's going to be coming straight ahead. 3 players already here for NaVi. And they're losing their gunfights. All 3 of them already down.
Well, Modi with a double kill. So the Swede starts it off nicely. And the CT has been punished. The only 2 players that remain are Edward and Flamey, and they're not really in a great position to retake this. There's no kit, it's just the armor. So time is of the essence. They need to try and go for a more aggressive play back into this one if they're going to retake.
Yeah, you've got to be contemplating a save, I feel. There was no kit in play from NaVi, so ultimately, unless you're able to get some really quick kills here, Flamey is looking for that. Oh, Modi. He's had a very strong pistol round thus far. Edward will grab 1 exit, gets a second as well. However, the lurk from S-Tag, it's just a matter of time, I think.
Yeah, the backstab from S-Tag going to come through. I mean, at least Edward got 3 kills there for free. He didn't really, you know, do too much for that.
They were pretty, well, meaningless kills to an extent, right? It's just
they're not
extra
impact
money,
kills.
isn't
They're
it?
not. Yeah, it's just literally getting the stats and the extra cash. So not going to be much. Oh,
Narsus decided to keel over and die, apparently, in
dead
spawn.
and spawn. Look at that. What yoga pose is that? Face on floor.
So Zeus has dropped a deagle to Edward. That's interesting.
Okay.
So despite Edward, you know, making all that money, Zeus gives him a deagle. Could have bought that himself, of course. But that's an interesting one. Never seen that sort of decision be made, especially when we've been seeing teams buy in the 3rd round when you lose the pistol.
It is a bit of a weird one. Doesn't really seem like there's too much behind that. What's he doing with that deagle as well? Playing behind Carr right now. But he's not really going to get much of a chance to use it either. They're not aggressing towards long. Freiburg's the only one that would. And he's got the bomb and he's going to back off. They're going to try and take that short control as a Wolfpack, Ben.
I suppose if he would get some impact in the game, or this round rather, it would be through them pushing up on short. You can see Hacilian. He's actually walking up a bit. Potentially walking into the crosshair of a few enemy players on short. So yeah, you can see Edward at the car. He's ready for the push through this smoke. Smoke gets put down again. Edward.
Ooh.
This is the first one and the second. Did land the 3rd though.
I mean, he's got the tag off, so he's softened the blow a little bit for his teammates to be able to punish them. It's a very messy round so far, and the tags do start to come back in. Mertz, however, will bail them out entirely with that double kill. That's put them into a tasty position now to close down the round. It's only Electronic that remains. And look how low they all are, Ben.
That was really scary, to be honest. If you remember the heroic round they lost, I believe it was in the first week we saw, where they went up short and they just got completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
There were some flashes of that potentially happening. If Edward lands the first shot, his confidence goes sky high. He then thinks, I can land all these shots. So this seems really weird. Like, Edward... Okay, so that's the reason. They want to get an AWP on Edward. A very unexpected purchase to be having, I suppose, if you're a terrorist side, thinking 3rd round of the actual game. It shouldn't really be possible, because they saw Edward with the deagle as well.
Yeah.
They might be thinking he spent that money on the deagle. And Edward... Ooh... takes a few digs through the door. But
Okay, they now know. They'll have the read that he's got the AWP towards mid there. And this short control play is more of a classic heroic move as well. They've done this quite a few times.
Yeah, they've been fairly reliant on having this control. They did have a good T-half yesterday against Big. 11 rounds they managed to get. And you could argue that it should have been more as well. They lost 2 rounds for no reason by rushing B. However, the question is, have they learnt from that? Or will they run into the same issues? Short smoke comes in, the CT smoke as well. This is the CKR smokes other than the actual one there. They're dropping into Simple. He'll deal with them easily. And he deals with Freiburg as well.
Oh, that is the risk you run, playing against a man like Simple, Ben. It's that sheer brilliance of a rifle. Pops off, I mean, 3 huge kills. He's pretty much denied the round from now. They've got to try and take that B site control. Edward gets another pick. They can get through this round flawlessly as well. No kills found yet for that T side. Modi, he got the dink off, was able to punish Flamey, but it's not a frag, and he will go down. So Simple. That's some big early game kills as well, finding himself 4 into the round and switches it over. Yeah, going to give Edward that AK and take the AWP for himself.
That's the knowledge that for Heroic, they know Simple is playing that rotate role. So if they ever try and go for a mixture play, whether it's mid to B or short, going on the floor, for example, they will run into him. Heroic, though, because of the damage they had in that round, they did win in the second. They're forced into pistols here. Just some grenades here and there.
This is actually really smart as well. Obviously, expecting the fact that Heroic won't have a great buy, they might try and go for something crazy. You just stick the one player you know can hold a sight on his own towards B, the rest of them group up outside A, Ben.
Zeus is going to have a big amount of enemies to deal with. That flash is beautiful, and he doesn't even get the spray. If that's in the doorway, he might actually kill off.
Yeah.
Electronic managed to get to car, though. Question is, will he be able to get anything else done from it?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a huge swing.
Really going for it there. Luckily enough, Edward's going to be able to become the cleanup crew, assists Electronic to punish them all. But Modi with a deagle, still trying to make this round more expensive as he's getting the tags out. Finally, Simple's going to rotate over as well. He was dubious to the fact as whether or not this was going to be the full commit. Gets boosted up on the site. Normally, Simple will find this kill. Goes for the extension, but does miss it, Ben. And Modi's been given chances to just try and lop their heads off.
Yeah, they do have the bomb down, is the main thing. However, for Modi, He actually gets the AK though, so he's still got 35 seconds to play with. If he wants to, he could save this. It wouldn't be the worst decision in the world, I suppose. But you got to be thinking he tries to damage the economy on that NaVi side. Edwards managed to get a push position towards Car as well. I think they know he's not in pit.
Yeah, they should just be holding the crossfire right now, watching each other's angles. But they're both focusing on long. Luckily, Simple's going to realize there could be trouble afoot. Scopes back towards short, but the timing's everything. Nicely played by Simple.
Ultimately, quite a costly round, though, for NaVi.
Considering how it started, very expensive. And they played it correctly as well for that attack.
Yeah, the main thing is Zeus probably could have played it a bit differently. I mean, the smoke is quite deep, I guess. If you're thinking you might be against an eco, you might want to try and maybe get that smoke in the door and then do like Gobi, for example, the body block, right? At least then you've got a lesser, like, you know, FOV of spray that you need to hold.
Well, it's a very tight corridor. If you're,
that's a lovely kill.
If you're spraying it, you know you're going to hit someone like that.
So the flash to check if there was somebody close short came through, but Simple unaffected by that. And Zeus playing quite boldly when it comes to grenade usage here. Ooh, that spam. If he'd held the spray properly into someone crouching, that kill is, you know, free right there. Instead, he just deals a lot of damage. NaVi in a really good position this round. So Heroic, we've still got a lot of grenades to use for this one, but like, I've got to be thinking, where do they think it'll work? Because now Simple with the rotate. I was going to say, he took a lot of damage for that. It's a nice kill to find. Oh, this nade.
Little air burst there from Electronic. Oh, he gets the kill as well. S-Tag completely taken out. And Asilian and Freiburg have been scratched down ever so slightly. CT's definitely favoured into this one, especially if they decide to go for this attack on the B site. It's up to Modi to try and get the early contact. Asilian, however, does cut off Electronic. They're walking into the trap, really. This site bolstered and defended. If they find that first kill, the trade will go down. Modi popping off Ben, gets the double kill. He can try and get that plant down on the cross. Zeus will miss the flick. And it is going to be the 1 versus 2 retake. However, he's only got the AWP.
No kit.
Is he going to go for this? Trade out for the M4?
There's no kit actually on the floor at all.
Oh, he's got one.
He finds one now, but it looks like he's already on the way out. Doesn't want to risk it. There isn't much money on the NaVi side, to be fair. You know, only Edward can actually get a buy-in next round, safely.
And that harps back to the round we saw previously as well. Losing so many men on a round against a very light investment from Heroic. It's not going to leave you in a good spot in terms of your cash.
Well, it all stemmed from Simple perhaps being a bit too over-eager to try and get involved in the round. You know, he took that mid-peak, tried spamming through the door, but then kind of jumps across, which unneeded to an extent. Heroic take the lead back, though. They do pick up the AWP for... Well, Sin picks up the AWP for Mertz here as well. The double AWP has been purchased, though. So I said Edward was probably the only player who could have bought himself. He buys an AWP, drops it across. NaVi are into this round, and Zeus actually goes for the USP grenades and armor. He is the utility man into this one. So Heroic yesterday, we saw a lot of them just running straight down Sniper's Alley because they knew the pressure wasn't really there. Short control again. Very easy for Heroic to actually go for. Question is, how early do they want to do things towards it? Because you can see Freiburg, he got hit quite aggressively with that nade, and that Molotov's going to force him out. He takes some more damage as well. Zeus did get given a deal towards the end of that, you know, buy time. So he does have a bit more firepower with him, but ultimately if they go long, he's going to be on his own. Here comes the take.
Ooh. Spam there from Zeus, getting shots off. Going to counter flash it as it'll launch back over. Does go for the extension out, gets the headshot on S-Tag. Still hungering for more, but really unable to do too much at all as it falls into the 4 versus 4. The double up setup is still in commission, but Modi, his angle is so sublime. If he would have got the adjustment as well, that could have been the round set in stone. But at least it's left on a 3 versus 3. Anyone's round now, and Edward plays it smart. Going to go for the aggressive face through the smoke, gets that kill. The follow-up frag found by Electronic. And it all crumbles down to just one man in Mertz.
Mertz all alone with the AWP. 15 seconds as well. The bomb's already down. Needs to keep it into the next round because Heroic, they don't have much money either. All it'll take is for one team to win 2, maybe 3 rounds in a row for a team to stamp their authority onto this game. Because right now it's completely back and forth consistently. You could argue due to that change with the economy, really. Because it kind of changes the way we would normally have rounds play out.
The games have been a lot closer, I feel, especially in the early game. That sort of first 7 or 8 rounds is quite back and forth until someone actually gets themselves in a position where obviously you've either got a healthy economy or you're being able to build an economy.
Yeah, but seeing a lot of 4-3, 4-4 scorelines, haven't I?
There's never really, I don't think we've seen a 7-0 lead, apart from the games where it's been crazy, and that's gone to be a 16 sort of, 16-2.
Yeah. So a lot of damage dealt to F-side in the tunnel. Heroic did force buy into this. They recognise the money's not really there, but you may as well try and buy around that AWP. And look at NaVi's movement. They're going for that boost in CT. Zeus has got control of the long doors. It's going to be a B split coming in. Simple smoked off, but he's confident to allow Electronics to stay there. And Zeus is pushing all the way to top mid. He's going to get that read really early on, and he loses the battle. Moddy, he's been playing really well so far. But that's an outrageous kill to find. Changes how the round will play out though. Moddy's trying to get the info play. So Simple here misses. Misses again. This is unusual. Finally gets the kill, but Heroic, they've already made that long journey from tunnels. They've got 40 seconds and a single flashbang to work with.
Pushing their way down mid here. Gonna be flashing over and trying to go for the aggression through. Edward spams away. Gets 1 kill on Freiburg, but Cillian will try to back with the AWP. Peeks out to try and get the follow-up, but they will be able to take him down. It's all up to Estetag and a 1v2. 1v3, goes for the flick. Electronic was there from behind. Does NaVi get that round?
NaVi going to be stabilising their economy here. Heroic, after forcing into that round, you can see the money on their side. It really isn't there. So this must be, I'd say, an eco. I don't think you can really get any purchases in pistols here either. Moddy might go for a P250, but it's not really worth it. It's going to be a full Glock round for Heroic. Looks like the train is going towards short though. Question is, will it be met by a CT player? Electronic, they're just charging, look at that.
Oh.
They actually get 2 kills as well.
Zeus finding headshots, but it's only Freiburg that remains, Ben. Grabs the M4, but Simple with a jump shot USP. Going to connect that one, so they're just going down. NaVi now accumulating 5 rounds. First pause comes out.
You can only imagine that'd be Heroic coming through with it. And ultimately, it's more, what do we want to do? Because we know they've got the 2 AWPs in play. Simple and I believe it was Flamey with the other one. And Simple seems to be, he doesn't seem to have a normal spot on the map. He seems to be given that free roll to just run around, which is great to see because he is that kind of player where he can just that way have a great impact on the overall map.
Plus Dust2 is one of the maps where that can work. You can have a player that sort of be like, play towards mid, but roam, and just, you know, see what you can do.
Because we saw it from the first Byron, didn't we, really? He was sat in CT, got that triple kill. And then he was able to move across towards B as well, very easily. Yeah,
sort of just playing off of what he's got weapon-wise and what his teammates want him to do there. So it's like, I'll hold mid, I'll go for a pick, I'll take B. Seems like he is sort of, you know, dictating where he wants to go for the majority of the round. And I mean, he's probably the best player you can have do that sort of thing. Yeah. Very much a one-man army.
He's versatile when it comes to weapons as well, I think. He can use a rifle, he can use an AWP. That way you can't really predict what he's going to have. Zeus, however... Ooh, that's an awkward smoke. I think he does get the info from Edward that they have pushed towards it though. And Simple gets a kill just as the smokes are fading. That's going to allow Edward, the timing not on Moddy's favour here. If Edward looks around at the correct time, there should be a free kill towards lower, depending on where he's looking. He's actually focused towards short.
He hasn't realised as well, but luckily he's got behind them. That's going to be 1, 2, and the third. And it's just on Moddy now. And Edward, Ben, goes back for it, still finds the kill, drops the spray as well. Going to be quite proud of himself with that one. And Edward, 16-5 right now. been put into a lot of fantastic positions into this game. Nicely supported by his teammates and absolutely slaying when it comes down to the aim fights.
I was saying, it's not gone in Moddy's favour at all. No. With that. It was like a good, like, what, second away? If he'd gone down low a bit quicker, he would have caught Edward there. And Simple now towards long, gets that first kill. And Heroic, they've used so many grenades just to get out of the doors. They're kind of now relying on these deagles that they have bought. The issue is, you've got an open Simple on the site.
Yeah, that's also a really good showing of displaying to people why the A1S is actually still very useful in certain situations. You had that silencer. You could see the extra amount of time he had to find those first 2 kills before the third player even realized what was going on. Purely because you're not on radar, you know, you're more hidden there.
The classic issue, though, is you'd see someone spray that gun and then run out of bullets on that third player and then blame the weapon rather than, you know, Edward, he just double tapped that first person. Yeah. Basically got 4 bullets for the second. As long as you use the bullets correctly, you're able to deal with them pretty efficiently.
I mean, 20 bullets is still a lot of shots.
Because it does, I believe it shoots slower than the M4A4 as well. So obviously, if you're thinking of a spray, it won't be the same length as an A4 like spray, but it will be similar, just slightly less.
And that's sort of the point of the weapon, though, you know, because obviously with the community, people say, oh, I don't like using it because I get rushed, and then I can't do anything with it. But it's like, yeah, but that's why you use the A1S. You can play a sort of position like, you know, B-site on Inferno. If you're expecting a push, you're going to be spamming a lot more smokes. Take the A4. If you're playing a position where at times you'll need to go for sort of a flank or potentially something outrageous like that, go for the A1S.
Nice nade from Edward, though. Hit Sicilian straight in the head. Actually stops him from getting towards short as quick as he would have liked. But Heroic, very reliant on the short controls you mentioned, while they're not really getting much done from it this game. NaVi taking control of it, really. Zeus, the last time he used that smoke, he did get burst on, you know, the doors here. You can tell he's a bit more wary about it now. So Heroic, it looks like they might try and do that execute, which Edward stopped them from doing in the previous buy round. The one-way smoke being set up. You can see Edward, he was thinking about pushing into the tunnel there. I think if the smoke comes in, he will probably go for that push. Good Molotov there from them. Moddy. He's very scared of that potential lurk, not catching it. Here comes the execute. Electronic's ready for this. Simple. Oh. He's ready to fight close range. Look at it.
If he would have got the follow-up shot, that could have been absolutely wild, but unfortunately he does go down. However, the damage is now going majorly in favor of Heroic, and Moddy this time catches off Edward when he's up to his old tricks. Flamey! Feels like he should have hit that, Ben. Oh, he makes up for it, though.
It's a nice kill to find. He doesn't have many grenades, if any at all, for this retake. However, the players on the other side are damaged, so he has that going for him. Looks like he's going to stick with the AWP, though. Scopes in incredibly early. Perhaps going to try and get some exit kills onto this round. If he's able to kill S-Tag and Pit, he probably gets Sicilian as well. And, you know, even though Heroic would win the round, it would be really costly. So you see, slowly just going through the door. The longer it waits, though, S-Tag might be concerned towards the actual door.
He looks like he could be holding it right now. Or Flamey. Yeah, gets the first, but it's into the one-on-one.
Doesn't want to risk it too much. But yeah, at least makes it so, you know, Heroic, they only live with one player alive there. And NaVi got plenty of money to play with. Still in a good position for them. And ultimately, you could argue, if Zeus wins that firefight towards lower CT, Electronic doesn't need to go for that wide swing. It changes everything, right?
Well, it's just the fact, I mean, if S-Attack died there to Simple on the second shot, that whole round would have been over.
Double AWP on the side of Heroic now, though. So S-Tag keeps his own. I believe he dropped one towards Mertz, though. Bit of an awkward jump P, but Simple's already on the scene, though. But he misses.
Oh, that is a tasty shot, however. The double scope. Still just toying with him. Look at him dancing around this box. Realised he didn't have to go for the face, so his teammate could assist him. Edward as well, confidence as he pushes back out, gets that frag. Oh, Freiburg, however, towards mid, will win the battle against Zeus. He might be a god, but he isn't going to kill the man that sprays. It's left now into the 2v2, Ben, as the rotate comes back around. Bomb going to be dropped across Mertz, expecting a flank from the rear.
Simple did hear that movement, though. He should know there's still a player towards short.
Oh, Edward.
Missing the jump, of course.
Feels like a lot of people still don't realise you have to go from... It's more of an angle now. It's changed compared to how it used to be.
Mertz. Ooh, he did get caught out, but he holds on to it.
Oh,
misses.
He has baited them in. Freiburg, from that angle, unfortunately not able to find anything. Simple. Just a terror on the server right now, and it's all up to Mertz. It's a 1v2, but he's got the AWP. The bomb defuse going to start coming through. He has the backpedal. Goes for the jump shot, but he's so low, Ben. And Simple will find that kill. Trust in Edward there, just getting him to jump on the bomb.
I guess so. Yeah, that's... You know, in most situations, you wouldn't say the player without the kit, jump on it, I'll cover you. You know, that round could have been over 5 seconds earlier.
I suppose just the faith in Simple.
Yeah.
If you're going to trust in someone, I guess trust in Simple, right?
Yeah, both of them, though. Edward and Simple, I think they had 34 kills between them this game so far. Heroic going with the tactical, because right now the short takes, you know, that take into B, you've got to think they should have got the kill on Simple a bit quicker. If at all, right? Because he missed the first shot. He's been missing the first shot quite a few times so far this game. It's not been a great one.
No.
But the fact that he's missing the first shot and then still getting another one afterward.
And also staying alive for so long. Edward had time to rotate the whole way over, find that kill, find a follow-up frag as well. And bear in mind, let's think about just how much money they pumped into that. Obviously saving one AWP on S tag, but buying an entirely new AWP to have a 2 AWP setup on that on the T side. And this is the biggest buy they can get. And they're going to fully invest into this one as well. Freiburg on the AK, the rest of them just with pistols.
They did see Zeus on the radar, I believe. So you can see they're checking for a player in lower, however, nobody there. Zeus, nice nade. Zeus has put himself in some good positions this game, but he's been quite unfortunate in terms of the actual aim side of it. If you remember the kill that Modi got onto him.
Yeah.
Last round as well, Freiburg completely just turned and destroyed him. So it's a real awkward one where you're making all the right decisions, but not landing the shots to make that work, right?
It's not too much of a negative, though, really, because at least, you know, his teammates around him are doing by far the bulk of the work. And positionally, as long as that's good, you're going to be able to get those shots off eventually.
Cillian got absolutely hit through the door there, I believe. Down to 9 HP. Not a good start by any means. Heroic managed to hold on to a lot of their grenades there. While the buy is very limited, they do still have a lot of smokes and flashes available, but Edward, if he sees grenades coming in, I think he might just push in. He's got no grenades to lose here, it's just firepower. The entrance smoke will come in. Does he push into it? I think he should. So that's one way of doing it, though. Modi would have been lined up for that spram if he waited just a bit longer.
Ooh, Zeus towards mid as the Tech 9 burst comes through. A little bit fragmented there. I mean, he was playing behind the smokes. They didn't really have clear vision. Simple again. An awkward miss with the first shot, and Freiburg's been given a chance to pop off. It's 2 kills into the round. It's a 3 versus 3 retake. Freiburg having a big round now, Ben.
Yeah, you could tell the play that was going to be orchestrated there. Flamey had a flash ready. If Zeus kills Freiburg there, I think he just charges in and tries to stop that plan. But instead, Freiburg lands his 3rd kill of the round. It's looking like this might be a heroic round as well.
Oh, Electronic wants to save the double AWP.
Oh, he grabs it.
Needs to get out of there.
Thing is, they'll have heard that. And they should hear them running away as well. So if they've managed to keep both AWPs, it's a really nice save if they managed to get away. Flamey, he was so low, a single shot to the toe would have killed him.
I mean, they can hunt, but that bomb's close to detonating. They won't have too much time on the clock. However, Flamey is just playing from the ramp, so Mertz not going to overcommit to it. Doesn't really fancy charging in. Yeah. They're going to realise it's gone.
Yeah. Nice save by Flamey and I believe it was Electronic. So they do keep the double AWP. Simple though. I mentioned he did miss a few shots. Like the first shot he's pretty much missed every time other than that one round towards long. But after that he seems to... It's a weird one. They're just charging up mid.
Well, that nade could do damage.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. And look at this! I mean, the spray wasn't fantastic, but he got the kill, but the trade should be there. That's a lot of information, though, if you're Electronic. You've just managed to see a lot of players went towards long, and that allows the AWPs to deal with the players out there.
Oh. Flamey from the side is just punishing them, Ben. 2 wide swings, hits them with the uppercut. Zeus is going to eliminate Modi. And it's just Mertz that remains in a 1 versus 4. This is not looking too great at all for him. Silence M4 in play as well. Spots one player towards mid there, but in reality, this is just a matter of time. I mean, recovering the bomb would be absolutely horrific for him, and Zeus is waiting for that push as well. Pop flashes himself out so we can try and go for the play. He's still quite timid. Going to use that second pop flash before he pushes through. Ooh.
Take some damage for just throwing the Molotov. The Molotov wouldn't have really done much other than force Zeus back down pit.
Yeah.
Smoke will come through. He can kind of grab the bomb, but ultimately, can't really see anything happening from that at all.
So many angles to worry about and no real cover.
Didn't really have a game plan going into that from long doors. He just kind of threw his flashes, hopes to get out.
Seemed like he was just trying to use the utility for the sake of using it, really.
It's quite interesting, that M4A1S, it had Nifty stickers on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Virtus Pro and Nifty stickers.
Quite a weird array, isn't it? Because you've got, I think it's Edwards M4, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess. Nifty and Virtus Pro.
His favourite player and his favourite team.
I guess. Very weird. Look at this aggression there. He misses the first shot again. So weird. It's uncharacteristic. He's normally one of those players who, you know, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile sort of thing, right? So far, he's been given a mile and not taking a single bit.
Yeah. Okay, we're falling back into the classic now. Last round of the first half, Heroic, they're going to go for the standard play, the short burst. Luckily, the utility is in their favour. They've got an absolute abundance of it to use. They only have one real weapon. Their arsenal is lacking apart from the AK that's on Mertz, Ben.
Yeah, the last time they had a buy like this, it was Freiburg with the AK. He did get 3 kills with it, and you could argue that is the only reason they won that round behind his firepower.
He had a monster performance.
So you got to be thinking they might need that sort of thing again. But Flamey's covering long doors this time rather than Zeus. Smokes towards mid B come out. 45 seconds on the clock. The bomb is in long doors still, however. Question is, will Flamey move off of his position? Because there's 3 players in long doors. They can burst at any second now. Here it comes.
Oh, he holds. Caused them to shoot there as the jump face came across. They're going to go 1 for 1 on the trade right now. And it's left into the 4 versus 4. Zeus going to push up. Goes down to Vasilian with a Tech 9 kill. Electronic with the adjustment, but Mertz has already found the headshot. Ben S-tags on the site, going to plant that bomb. It's Edward and Simple that remain now. Vasilian trying to get aggressive with the Tech 9. Doesn't really find too much. Simple going to re-aggress. Flashbang goes over. Vasilian just holds position. Will begin to drop off. Heroic looking good at this round. Seems like they might actually be able to pick themselves up a 6 to 9 half. They're struggling. The last 2 members alive on the side of NaVi, not really given much of an opportunity to push through. That's the tag. Going to get the headshot off. And it's all on Simple now. And it's just a matter of time, really, Ben. He knows he can't do anything. Just trying to connect these shots as the push comes towards him. This is going to be a 6 to 9 half. Simple. The whiff master right now.
I mean, he managed to stay alive, but
it doesn't really matter.
What does that really do in that situation? Heroic, they get that round 1, and I was going to say, Mertz's AK is probably the way they won it, right? Flamey didn't get a chance on that long peak. And ultimately, that, you know, I was wondering, would Flamey stay there? And he did, but he misses the shot. So it's a bit of an awkward one, really. 9 to 6, though. Heroic, they have managed to get themselves back into it. It was looking a bit rough at times. But they do get their way back in, and look at those odds.
Oh.
I wouldn't have even said that 9-6 on CT was exactly that one-sided either.
I mean, I can only imagine that inflation's come from Edward having the big performance he had in the initial rounds, and then maybe Simple obviously being able to pop off at times.
You could look at yesterday's game, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Heroic yesterday, they got 11 rounds on T.
So yeah, weaker than they did last time, and NaVi look in good form.
Yeah. And then
but still quite an inflation.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the most, like the highest as I think like we've seen is like 4.24 or something.
During a game, it was much worse. If you remember the Astralis one.
Oh yeah, it was like a 6, wasn't it?
I think it was 9. It was a very one-sided situation.
Yeah.
But it seems very weird because 9-6, in everything but before the economy changes, you'd be thinking if Heroic win the pistol, they tie up 9-9.
Yeah.
However, that has been changed a bit, so it would be normally now to 9 to 8 if they were to win the pistol. Assuming NaVi don't force buy into it, but NaVi are known for being quite weird when it comes to their force buys. Very willing. to risk that, I suppose.
It's always quite unorthodox as well. I mean, we see it a lot of the time where it'll be certain players on AKs and, you know, you sort of wonder, where's Simple on his AK?
That was always the classic thing you'd see on the subreddit, wasn't it? Just like, why is this happening? You see like Zeus has the AK and Simple has like a P250 or something.
Yeah. Well, it's 9-6. Quite a close half there. A few rounds, give or take, that could have gone different ways, really, for either team. And Simple towards the end, not looking like himself. You wonder if that will frustrate him a little bit getting into the second half.
I think it'd be more funny from his perspective that he didn't even die as well.
Yeah, they just stayed alive.
Like, he's not missing, he's not landing shots, but they aren't either.
They were just sort of accepting their fate.
A very weird one. But Pistol starts and Freiburg started off well. Gets that opener onto Edward.
A minute and 30 on the clock here. NaVi just sitting in T-spawn right now, expecting potentially a push to come through. Electronic still has that smoke for the Xbox, I believe.
Yeah, so 4v5, they got that first pick. You can see how slow it is, though. Electronic setting up a smoke to a spawn that'll land on Xbox, I believe. Zeus still has his smoke available to him. But Heroic, they seem very happy to just hold things as they are, right? They're not even trying to make any info plays. They've got the man up. They know NaVi need to make the move. Flash through mid comes through. Cillian. It's very rare you see people actually hold that angle. CSGO.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a tag.
The juicy little opener, man. They have got into his sight, however, and he's had to push through. Finds that headshot, and that's the bomb as well. Electronic gonna flick around, gets the headshot up, takes down Freiburg. The further kills go his way in close range. He does beat down Mertz, but it won't matter. Heroic, they get that round, and they look pretty comfortable for the entire round, really, the full duration.
That does mean that Heroic go 2 for 2 with pistols as well.
Yeah.
Because you know, the first pistol was similar to that one, really, wasn't it? Heroic had complete control.
Well, Mertz and Modi just burst out long and just shut him down.
This time, SSI dealt with the B-ramp actual push. And NaVi, they get some, you know, consolation kills on Electronic, ultimately. Simple actually buys a deagle. Very close to getting the one dig onto Cillian there, though.
Just going for the spam towards long. Zeus has been brought down to 20 HP, and Mertz is trying to get a bit aggro here with a scout. Finds that wallbang headshot onto Simple, looks for some more. Not really doing too much, Ben. Just an awkward game of cat and mouse, and the mouse has won.
In this case, the very rare situation that the mouse does win, I suppose.
Well, in Tom and Jerry, he always won, didn't he?
Yeah, but there was outside influences, I feel.
Yeah, the old woman.
Yeah.
His bigger friends.
Yeah, that was the CIS region when Draken was flaming them a bit.
When he was giving Simple and everyone just walking
they all
in.
charging.
That was a good meme.
Yeah. Well, Electronic, that's a free kill. So some more damage being done though, but you know, if you're thinking NaVi, Edward or Simple did buy into it, he got Deagle. So it means, does he drop a gun to someone if they're going to buy him an orb? Electronic's the only one who can do that. They are going to buy, so this means, I imagine Simple goes AK armor. There's not going to be much utility at all on the side of NaVi, especially when they all go for AKs here.
They got 3 smokes between the 5 players. Oh, and Simple's been tagged.
Electronic with a nice little left click.
That's rough. Considering these rounds have already been quite awkward, it's not a good way to start it.
Speaking of awkward, that's not a very good start, but Mertz, nice double trade, didn't expect the third peak though. And Ed Flamey should be able to deal with these. He heard more than one player. Unfortunately, he didn't even get the first player going up. So he lets Modi go up, but they do have the knowledge that he was there, at the very least. Bit of a weird one.
Modi.
He's looking for the kill.
He's going to try his luck, Ben, but Flame was in a tasty little angle, peeks out, gets that shot off. Although it started off looking quite awkward, with a team tag coming through from Electronic, they do win that round, as the short aggression was really unable to be stopped. I mean, Mertz tried his best, but We do see NaVi now get themselves to a 10-8 scoreline. And there is no cash for Heroic. This could go 11-8. Heroic, can they do anything at all into this round? Getting quite aggressive. Going to send the early aggression here with Modi. Ooh, fast pick. Gets the first. Flicks up with the AK, but Flamey will trade it.
Yeah, I was saying last round with NaVi, they didn't really have any utility.
No.
Normally, from what we've seen from teams, was that they would play the round really slowly and hope they don't have to use them.
Yeah.
NaVi do the complete opposite. They just charge forward. They know we might catch them off guard here. And it was really awkward, wasn't it? Yeah, you had 2 players from short running onto site with, you know, knives out, grenades out. And, ooh, that's... If he lands that shot, you probably think this round might be winnable. But instead, I feel like it's just a matter of time, really. Mertz did get a second chance at trying to get that kill, but nothing happens. NaVi looking to take that 11th round on the board. And they will, only losing the electronic, purely because he was caught off guard, really, wasn't he? Modi got into lower. And Modi's had a pretty solid game when you think about impact frags across the board. You know, it's 3 on the pistol.
Yeah.
And they're surprisingly well balanced in terms of amount of kills as well on that Heroic side.
I've always thought Modi is a a pretty pivotal player in the Heroic side. I've always assumed he's one of the the players that really does sort of keep them together. We made the reference before that he's kind of like the glue of the team, and he can be. You know, he's someone that steps up. Definitely does a lot for the side, and he's been there for so long. I mean, historically, quite a famed player as well from the early days.
The short aggression was coming through from Heroic. Electronic wasn't able to see anybody towards it, but because that little cubby that you can go into towards short, Mertz is sat in there right now with his AWP. And he did get a tag onto Zeus. Not the kill, but there's some damage inflicted onto the NaVi side.
Zeus has been very unlucky with getting tagged in the early moments of the round as well.
And they're going back towards long. They're going to try and do this execute from here. And the electronic, this lurk could be pivotal. Oh, that timing. Oof. If he has his gun out there, you probably think he wins the fight, because he would have seen Freiburg before Freiburg saw him. The take's going to have to come through soon. They've only got rifles to deal with it as well. Mertz on the site with an AWP. And unfortunately, he loses that fight. It's a really awkward one.
Modi goes through with a flashbang, nicely timed, but you can't beat the Simple as he'll win that, but they try it again. Simple just keeps on doing it, Ben. Every time, Zeus will be traded back upon. Freiburg just spamming through the smoke. Simple playing that lurk role. His 2 teammates are so low. Both of them left there on rather small amounts of HP. Flame are going to get the bomb down at the very least, and Freiburg and S-Tac begin to rotate back around. Freiburg gets that Molotov frag on Flamey, makes him crispy. The double kill as well. That's 4 frags found for Freiburg into the round, and it's up to Simple to salvage it as he gets aggressive towards long. Ben expects the push to come through. It's a big tag on S-Tac, flicks around, but Freiburg does it, and that's the ace from Freiburg.
I think Flamey killed himself that round. Unless the Molotov spread awkwardly straight after the plant. Because the Molotov was thrown on side by Freiburg off that wall. And it was covering the plant if it was on that side. However, you can see where the plant was. It was up against single box towards long. Unless it spread really awkwardly, like in the last 2 seconds, because it does do that. I think he might have killed himself otherwise. A weird round though, ultimately. Like Simple dealing with players charging at them from crossover. Freiburg gets an ace on the other side of things. Simple needed an ace to win himself. Really weird one. Freiburg, technically, he's had 8 kills in 2 of the rounds that Heroic have won. Like, very big impact.
I mean, the risky run that we always speak about, though, is if someone's having to carry that much to get you around, it's not repeatable.
Yeah, you can't really rely on it.
Oh.
Mertz, you got to be thinking he can't go for that peak. Because if you've seen him, chances are he's seen you as well. And Electronic, using S-Tag's peak, but still, that's the bomb. That's a big kill to find.
Smokes the bomb, just going to hold in the cubby. Molotov will miss him. So he can sit here, happy days, but the thing is, Ben, there's only 2 CT players that are alive, and they're both grouped up here on short. They might have the bomb control, but are they really in a position to win this round? Electronic with a peek up. It's an awkward spam. Luckily, he's got support of Edward. Eventually, they should find this kill, which they will, and the flick down. Modi will be shut down. And that is a 12-9 scoreline now for NaVi. And obviously the reset round coming back through as well. So Heroic broken. I mean, this could be a 13-9. From that point, It's only a matter of time until NaVi starts to close this game down.
That was such a weird little battle at short, really, wasn't it? This, you know, Asilian spotted Electronic jumping on the box. He couldn't quite get a clear shot on him, but Electronic just kept on peeking up, trying to get the kill. He spotted even more players coming in. Like, okay, I need to keep hiding.
Just little peeks with a headshot.
Yeah. And Heroic take another pause. NaVi didn't even need to take a pause during that first half. They felt comfortable enough thinking, we will win this game. We'll get in control of it. And to be fair, it's looking correct so far. Heroic on the back foot. They actually are going to force into this though. They recognise this is double eco normally for them.
Who's that going for the 5-7? Essa tag on the 5-7 there. We don't see it much anymore.
No. It's the change that really destroyed the 5-7 was the movement-based change.
Yeah.
Right?
Making it so you have to be standing still.
Which is a really awkward one, because if you do that change, surely you do it to the other pistols. But instead, it was just the 5-7 that got hit by it. And simple, that early death. Edward is watching for this. Very easy kill. Unneeded move, I feel, from Freiburg. Did actually get the tag onto Flamey as well, though. But you can see, as a tag, he's thinking of it. He's playing so close to the entrance, debating it, and Electronic's been given 2 free kills. So Heroic, they get that early kill, and they throw it away, really. Already a 4v2 now in NaVi's favour.
Ooh. Mertz trying to get a shot off with the scout. I mean, he already found an outrageous opener with it to kill Simple, but getting any more is unlikely, as unfortunately he's been put into an early grave. His teammates suffered the same fate as well, and that does go 13-9. So NaVi in a great position here to actually take this first map versus Heroic. It's seeming like it should go that way if it carries on, Ben, as Heroic are pretty broken still. It's going to be 14-9 as they invested into the prior one. Simple this time.
Can't land the 360.
Yeah, well that's the thing, you know, if you 360 across doors, you get the extra luck.
You spook the enemy, you also mess up your own hitbox. If you are capable of doing that with your sensitivity, of course. A swarm of CTs though, this is the classic. Let 2 people cross, and then as soon as you get contact with B, we'll rush across as well. Unfortunately, Electronic, he's been picking up in the second half. I think he's had about 15 kills. A lot of impact for him, and he's actually caught up to Simple and Edward, now in between both of them on the scoreboard. Starter times for Heroic, though. No AWP on the side of them. Yesterday, they needed Mertz with an AWP to make the impact to get them some rounds and some entry kills. Limited now to an M4. Look how much grenades they were using, because they thought NaVi were going out long. That's really awkward to watch from the outside perspective. Proactive play towards tunnel, though. Heroic taking that. Flamey's about to check it, but doesn't really expect it, does he?
Ooh. S-Tag gets the first kill. CT Tide's in a good position here, but they're holding, Ben.
That's a lot of noise.
Electronic spots him out. It's a nice kill as well. It's a small angle there, but hits the shot. Kills Modi. You're back into a 4-on-4. I mean, this is going to favour the T side. Still got a lot of time on that clock. Edward's left in a boosted angle as well, so if Freiburg does get overly aggressive, it could come back to bite him in the bottom.
You can see Mertz being quite impatient. He wants to make some kind of move. Simple still in spawn, and Mertz is pushing towards top mid. If Edward's ready for this, he just checks it. You can literally just see the slow turn towards top mid, like, maybe?
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Mertz, his move's not really working out so far this game. Short push will come through. Freiburg's the only player towards A side. Still in now there. Does get to the ramp before they've actually got the push on though. Oh, it's a good kill.
Very tasty kill. It's a 3-on-3, make it the 3-on-2. Equal trades constantly in every one of these fights. And it won't go back in favour of Heroic. That is going to be NaVi picking it up now, taking it to a 15-9 scoreline. Oh, didn't realise the cash was going to be this bad for the final buy as well, Ben. That is absolutely despicable.
Yeah, not in a good position at all. They played the risk game. They went for that force when they had a double eco on the cards. Which means they lose that last round. They get 3 scouts into this one. Mertz again tags him through the door after crossing. He does it simple and flamey this round. He does get traded one shot itself as well. We'll try and do it again. He's really good at crossing and then remembering the perfect placement for where they would have been. Doing really well with that. So there's a lot of damage on the board from Heroic. Ooh. However, unfortunately, Mertz trying a bit too much.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous. Flamey gets the follow-up kill as well as that's Taggle peek into him. And if they did have any chances this round, it's quickly evaporating. Ooh. Electronic as well trades it back on Freiburg, so it's 2 players that are remaining on that CT side, Modi and Asilian. Modi does have the backstab with the scout and will get that free kill. And the other 2 players are tagged as well. They're in an awkward spot. I mean, the Famous could be the perfect weapon to spray him down with, but Zeus, the bolt of lightning straight through Asilian's noggin.
That's payback from a round earlier on when Modi destroyed him.
Yeah.
And now Modi, the last man alive. The T-side players aren't really healthy by any means. They're not even planting the bomb yet. They're just kind of waiting. They know Modi needs to make a move. He's got 2 kills towards that B-bomb site. They know where he is. Edward should get this kill unless Modi gets the flick. Edward with a fantastic game. Simple and Electronic backing him up. 16-9. I think that's a fair scoreline, really. Heroic weren't exactly fantastic into the game, but they did get some signs of life here and there.
Yeah, there was some good rounds there for Heroic. It's not all doom and gloom, obviously. Some points that we can take away. And as a benchmark, looking back at that game, there's probably actually quite a lot they could learn from it. However, it is unfortunate because you just had Edward having a really good run of form. Yeah. Simple as well. Even though that's one of the slower games we've actually seen from him recently, not really hitting all of the shots with the AWP. More so winning those sort of second shots onward. Not of slow shots quick off the draw with the early openers.
I think it just shows that he has the opportunity to get that many kills. Yeah, even though we think it was quite a slow game from him.
Yeah.
He still gets about 22, 25 kills in the game, though.
And that's what's crazy, is just because his average is just so high compared to the rest.
We should expect so much from him, which then leads into situations like that where he missed the first shot, which we would think he should normally lands those. Instead,
it is crazy.
Doesn't need to land them, apparently, this map.
No, definitely not. Well, that is the victory there for NaVi. I think that was to be expected. A very nice play from Edward here as well as we recap this round. We'll leave you with the rest of the highlights so you can refresh your memory about just what went down with NaVi's domination, and we'll be back in with the second map after the break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safecard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.